Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. I need you guys to smash that like button because today I'm going to show you a hidden technique right inside of Fruity Parametric EQ2. So if you didn't know, we can actually monitor both the mono signal and the stereo signal inside of Fruity Parametric EQ2. So the way you have to set this up is whatever sound that is a stereo sound, meaning it's not just mono and it's not just on the sides, it's stereo, meaning both mono and side information. You can load up the Fruity Stereo Shaper. Okay, on here you want to right click, go to where it says mid A side splitter. What this is going to do is separate the mid signal from the side signal. From this point, you need to create what's called a side chain. Okay, so click on your mixer channel and click any up arrow, okay, to activate that side chain or the send amount, we'll say. Then go back to where it says Fruity Stereo Shaper, right click and then select that specific mixer channel, and that channel will be where it sends the side information. So the first channel is where the mid information is, and this channel here, whatever you choose, is the side information. So what this sounds like is this. So if I mute the main output, we're going to hear the side sent to channel 9. Now in Parametric EQ2, if you guys load it up, click the drop down, go to monitor input, and then select side. What this means is that now we are only seeing the side information. Side is the difference between your left and your right ear. That's what side means. Okay, so if I mute the original drums here, we will hear the side information if I mute it. And it sounds like a hi-hat. So now we can go to that channel. And now I can EQ just the side information. So let's say on the side, you don't need sub bass on the side. We only want that hi-hat to focus just like this, and maybe we want it a little bit brighter. Okay, now let's activate the mid signal and let's turn off the side signal. So now in this EQ, if you click the drop down, we can go to view monitor input and let's go to mid. So now we're seeing the mid signal on the drums. Let's make some edits just on the mid signal. Okay, now let's open the side signal back up. And now we have the full image of the drums. Now we probably want to pull back on some of the highs just so it's not so perceived as such a big difference in the sound. Let's turn off the effects. So here's before. And then here's after, where we can clearly hear the side information. Okay, now let's take off the filter so we're not taking out the room reverb. Okay, now let's make it blend in a little bit more, but we do want to cut out the low frequencies, in this case below about 60, let's say. But even that small change, we could start to perceive the difference. This is why it's so important to understand that doing too much on one channel can affect everything. So somehow the the low frequencies need to be there for us to even feel like these two are cohesive, the mid and side signal. So here's before. And here's after. Now I do hear somewhat of a phase issue, like a timing issue. So the more plugins we have, I think if you turn off high quality, it might be a lower latency here. Or that might just be the sound itself. It just might sound phasey. To duplicate this, let's see. Let's make this unique. And let's see if that's just a sample, just a triple double check. Let's mute the original. So now we're listening to a duplicate of the sample here. All right, so I don't hear phase issues. Now let's play the original. It's hard to tell if there's phase issues or not, but that's something I would check too. When you separate mid and side information, there could be a time difference, which can kind of make the two feel like separate sounds. So just be aware of that. I'm not going to say it happened here, but just be aware of that. Okay, so what can we do with mid and side information? Most of the time, the side information just has frequencies you guys don't want. So let's load up a sample instead of just drums, let's try to pull up more of a sample. Let's do some random sample. Let's just click here. Where are we at here? Boom. I don't even know what this sample sounds like. I have no idea. Okay, so let's drag this in. We're gonna do the same. We're gonna do the same exact thing here. Route it to channel 7 here. And now it's automatically split into mid and side. Okay, so let's solo just a small part of the audio. So let's say we want to make the bass feel more narrow. Let's go to the side information and just chop down some of those low harmonics, low fundamentals. So now it's not so heavy on the side. And we could do the opposite. Sometimes our track needs to feel more full and warm. We could actually boost 200 to 400 hertz on the side to make it feel more warm of a sound. And now the sample feels like it's enveloping us as opposed to just happening. Or we could do extreme things like add compression. Now, I haven't tested this. Let's do FabFilter just to keep it simple. All right, so the reason I said I haven't tested it is I don't know if there's latency here. So what we'll do is add compression on the side image. So now we get to sound design each part of the, the sound itself. So now we can tame the side information by adding a compressor, for example. So let's A/B it just so you guys understand the difference. Here's before. All right, and here's after. So it feels way more centered and it feels like we got rid of that reverb in the sound. So we could do really unique things with mid and side information. There's too many things to really name off in this video, but some things you guys could think about is like, for example, if you want to distort the kick in the middle but not affect the bass on the sides, you could do that. Or if you need bass and kicks to happen at the same time, have your kick happen in the mono or the mid, and then have your bass be spread to the sides, and then that way they can both happen at the same time. So I'm just showing you all a couple things you guys could do, but I just wanted to show you guys the main thing here is this drop down where it says monitor input. You can switch that to mid and side, but in order to monitor the side, or excuse me, in order to manipulate the side information, you have to first separate mono from side or mid from side. And here in the Fruity Stereo Shaper, I showed you guys how to do that. So that's how you do it. You can also do this in Patcher. So let me show you guys the most, I'll say it's advanced, but it's not really advanced once you kind of get the hang of it. Let's load up Patcher. So in Patcher, you can right click and it basically is the flow of audio. So FL can do stuff and then it goes back into FL Studio. Let's right click, let's add a plugin here. We want to separate the mid and side signal. So let's go to Fruity Stereo Shaper. We're gonna click on double click, right click on the presets and go to mixing, go to mid A side splitter. So from here, by default, it sets the output to 2. What this means is we need to right click and activate an output under audio called send to. And now the audio from the main output will go to mono. The audio from, and you can read the value in the top left here, the audio from the send to will go to the stereo. So now we just right click and we add Parametric EQ2s or whatever plugin. I'll show you guys how to take this even further. But okay, so now we can send the mono, which is the main output, to the first EQ. And we don't even need to solo monitor input mid because it's automatically going to be mono. So let's say on the mono, we want the bass boosted. And we want to chop down some of those 500 hertz areas. And then we're going to route the stereo to another EQ. So now they're both happening at the same time. And now we can, the reason we can't see information on this EQ, I used to think it was just a glitch, but I didn't realize the drop down you have to monitor the side information or else you won't see the information. So let's do the opposite here. Let's boost some of the reverb of the room on the sides. And then somewhere around 200 to 400 to make it feel more warm on the side. And then we can adjust the gain levels as well. Most people think, you know, those stereo plugins that say like make something sound wider. Really what it is most of the time is just boosting the side gain. So it just makes it sound bigger. So you guys can just turn it up. Now I wouldn't do it for this, but I'm just showing you guys how like plugins are really built. We're just boosting the side gain for the most part. So now it feels wider even though we didn't really do anything. So if I pull this down, it feels more mono. Okay, so that's how you can kind of shape that. Now again, like I said before, if you want to make this really advanced, you could right click these nodes and insert plugins here and do whatever you guys want to do. Let's compress the side image here. So now I can have individual signal flows for both the mid image and the side image. Okay, so now let's compress the side just so it doesn't get too crazy with the. So now we have a unique reverb tone, but at the same time it's controlled with that compression so that we're not sounding like it's just this big huge thing that's over dominating the mid signal. And now let's add some sizzle to the middle here. Let's add Spectre. These plugins don't come with FL, I'm just showing you guys. Let's add Spectre here and let's boost some of those lows in the mid and let's make it more aggressive here with this mode. Let's go to rectify. So now the mid signal has aggressive bass, and to kind of monitor each, you can right click these arrows to turn stuff off. So I want to turn off the side signal so that we're only hearing the mono. All right, let's push the bass a little bit more. So that's the mono signal. Let's turn the mono signal off and now right click to turn the side signal. And now we can edit the side signal. Most of the time with your guys' mix, you have stuff like reverbs, delays, and even overly widened sounds that happen on the side, and you're not EQing the mess off the side. So that's why you guys' mix sound weird. It's most of the time it's on the side. So let's do something quirky. I just thought of something. Let's add RC20 to the side image here. So let's do RC20 and let's add that like wobbly tape sound, but this will only affect the side. Okay, so let's turn this on and let's have, because it already has vinyl noise or room noise. Okay, now let's open up the mono signal, the mid signal. So now we get like a chorusy sound because the side information is wobbling. The pitch is going up and down, whereas the middle signal is not moving. So now we're creating a dynamic chorusy type of sound. All right, so let's do a before and after. Here's before. All right, now here's after. All right, so if you want to become a Jedi, go to busyworksbeats.com/premium, and I'll show you guys how to master music production. Subscribe if you're new. Peace out, guys.